Hi, YouTube. Oh, I'm a little smudgy here or something. Just a minute here. Oh, maybe that's okay. No, not really. I thought I had it and then mm, do you see that? There's this one smudge right about there. Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna, there, a little bit better. Yeah, my room was kind of cold today. My arm where I fell has been just hurting me bad because of the damp weather. So I thought I'd come in by my wood stove and warm up. So, yeah, this is a part of my kitchen. So, anyway, I hope you all are doing well. Um, it could be a little better. I'm happy enough, as far as much as we can be happy in this world today, right? It's kind of hard sometimes, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, a mutual friend of ours had mentioned that I didn't look well and I had dark circles under my eyes to Doug. His response was, "She will be okay." He tells me about it and then he said, "And I've been sick for a really long time. Narcissist style, make that about them." Really. Like when I had a broken shoulder or broken toes, what are you going to make for supper type of thing I would hear. It's like, but when he had a broken leg, I did it all, you know. But that is how they operate. You will never get any validation from them. And if you are dumb enough, like I am sometimes, to try and talk to these people and try and work out things in your relationship or whatever, good luck. They might pretend, but I have never encountered any efforts besides fakery to actually work things out. So, yeah, just like usual, speaking what's on my mind today. But it all started with the words of my little sister echoing in my ears about my mom that gave me away. She had made a joke on Facebook. She told everybody it was a joke, but I didn't see it as a joke. Sending around a picture of a baby in a dumpster, indicating it could have been me instead of leaving me out for adoption. Which I didn't see that was too nice of a thing, and I told her so. We had kind of a pretty much of a blowout about that and her lewd things. You know, she did. If I told you the lewd things, you might agree that they were lewd, but and other people did too, but they wouldn't say anything about it. I was supposed to keep my mouth shut, and what I heard from my siblings, my youngest sibling, but they all fell in line with it pretty much. I heard that's just the way she is. Oh, really? Well, then maybe it's just time for her to be incarcerated for being mentally ill to the point of where it's damaging to other human beings. How do we prove this thing? It is illegal. You can't damage people, literally damage them and think that it's not illegal. God's watching you. He knows. It was rude. I was my whole family was going to come up here. My youngest brother, Lee J, was thinking about actually moving from Texas to Minnesota because I was here. But I told him the one thing about it here is in my smaller community, it wouldn't be any less racist. It might even be kind of worse. But it's not that he wouldn't have friends or anything, because I'm sure he would, but it wouldn't be. be any different in that respect. Then he'd have to contend with not just the heat in the summer, but the cold in the winter and things that people aren't used to. Well, anyway, so all my siblings were going to come up and see me, and a couple of their spouses, and they were going to come like in a motorhome or a couple of cars and things and stay on my property, and we could have some nice times together. In the meantime, whatever was said to me by this woman that said she gave birth to me, I do look like her, but I just still can't prove it, and I still can hardly believe it. But then nobody was going to come up, and I said, "Well, what happened?" My little sister's like, "Well, I don't know." And I'm thinking, "What do you mean you don't know? Didn't you ask?" Want to see the messages and just let me know to my siblings if you want to see the messages, the correspondence I got from that cold shit, then you'll know why I don't ever want to talk to her again. So, and that leaves that on you. Good luck with all that. I didn't have her before. I don't need her now. She, the only favor she did do me a favor, she put me on this planet. And for that, I'm thankful. That's it. On my birthday, I'm thankful. But even my grandmother was going to come back to the orphanage and get me, but that wasn't my mother. That was my grandmother. So my mother had already had one child when she was a teenager, then got pregnant again with me as a teenager. And then the third one that was born, JJ, hi JJ, love you, little girl. Um, she left home, moved to the neighbors when she was 12. Might kind of give you a little idea. And then our mother left the two youngest siblings in California with their dad and moved to Texas. It's a great mommy after she had hoed my sister out on the street and taught her how to do hard drugs and shit. Yeah, quite the story, huh? But anyway, as far as ever finding any validation, and a lot of us have been conditioned to just overlook what the narcissist does. That's maybe okay up to a point, like if you're in a working relationship or you have to, well, maybe not with neighbors, because if you have adjoining properties, neighbors that are narcissists can be extremely harmful and annoying. So, and shady. So you got to watch a lot of things they do, you know. Yeah. But that's what got me thinking on that track today was not only what Doug had said, that our friend was concerned and he just brushed it off. Oh, yeah, she'll be okay. Wouldn't it be the biggest joke, really, if God did take me home and Doug was stuck here by himself with the dead body? I think that would be a freaking riot. To me, that would be like justice. you know, that's my sense of humor. Or maybe it's not so funny after all, you know. So, anyway, but yeah, it's not too bad of a day. And I do have a lot of good things going on in my life. I have a house, I have food, you know, I could be healthier and really when these people do upset us, if we're going to interact with them, you're going to be upset. And the people that enable them by saying that's just the way they are, they're making excuses for these people. And There's no excuse for their brutality and their coldness, and you'll never be close, you know. So I never ever put on any kind of persona for anybody ever. In fact, I usually go out of my way to show them some of my worst traits right away. I really do. I have, and I made sure of that, you know. But the strength that you hold within, and your beauty, and your charm, and your humor, and all the things that they're entirely jealous of. And yes, don't be mistaken, because when their looks start fading, they're going to treat you worse. When your looks start fading, you go within and you still feel beautiful, and they don't get that. They're so envious of that. That was one of my stipulations when I met Doug. If you're jealous, I don't want anything to do with you. Nothing, you know. So he went out of his way to make sure that I didn't see that part of his nature when we first started going together. So, yeah, it's a pretty big deal. I really thought his personableness, um, interacting with people was on the same level as mine, you know, but it was different. So, boy, is it ever different. And it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter who they are getting their supply from, you know. Could be people on the internet if they're draining your time or your energy, or maybe they could be entertaining you in a certain way, you know, like sharing pictures. I know, like, one person, a couple people live on some land like we do and have a tractor and different similarities in another country. That's interesting for all of us anyway, to see that all us humans are pretty much human like that, you know. So, yeah. But ultimately, if you call them out on anything, um, you'll bear the brunt end of the stick eventually. One way or another, they aren't going to overlook. It's a betrayal. Even asking about me, you are a betrayer of the narcissist, right? Just with that small attempt. It is true. Yeah. It seems a little mind boggling, and you would think, you know, why would anybody, would they actually go out of their way to do something or to plan something, you know, like even if it's like a discard, if they want to, like, build you up just to smack you back down again. That's one of their greatest tricks. How many times can I treat this person like a basketball, you know, bounce it down, pick it back up, bounce it down, you know? How many times can they do that before you finally had enough, you know? Yeah, it is mind boggling. I'm not amazed because it's repulsive, and it is a mental illness. I wonder how long it's going to take science to catch up with this. and call it out for what it is in society and hold these people accountable in a um, legal fashion. You know, is emotional abuse abuse? Is psychological abuse abuse? We know physical abuse is abuse. If they can't do that, they'll do the other two. Seriously, if they want to hit you, they'll wait. They might even make you something to eat. But when you're eating it, they're going to make sure you choke. You know, it's just their way. There's demons living in these people. That's the only aliens on this planet is their dirty blood. Do you ever see how they interact with animals and how odd it is? Like they're trying to drain the energy out of their pets, you know? It's weird. Everybody, anybody. Yeah. They can't ever have just a rotten day by themselves and just say, well, I don't feel good today, so I'm not going to put that on everybody else. They're going to make sure you have a rotten day right with them because they never wake up happy. And if they do, that's their fake is all get out. It's never real. It's not real. You know, I usually get up and I'm like, good morning or morning. I just get up and stare at it like, oh, there you are. Because saying hello wouldn't make any difference. You know, it's not going to lighten up their mood or brighten their day, or you can go out of your way to try and give these people a better day than they've ever had in their life, and it means nothing to them. It's a true story. Yeah. So, what do you think? Do you have siblings or aunts or uncles or parents or co-workers or neighbors that could be described as abnormal? You know, being an empath, if you absorb their energy, that's a hard thing when you're living around deep, dark, depressive, um, um, and belligerent. Just there's nothing you can say in a conversation, no matter how logical you're being or how sensible, that is going to sink in and make a difference. It's astounding. That's the word. You know, I am astounded. You know, like that one saying. What was it? Demons roll the dice and angels roll their eyes. You know, that's true because they do roll the dice. Just a paradise. They're the two candlesticks. They're just whipping them out. What if Adam raped his mother, who was Lilith? Now, this is just speculation, and the kids came about. But Lilith was supposed to stay with God, but wasn't able to because she had to come down here to earth to help with the bastards. And Eve ended up becoming like demonistic. Or let me think of another scenario. Um, Eve had sex with one of her sons, and Adam was pissed, so God gave him Lilith. And they're here to straighten up the mess on the planet. What if, like, the four winds of the earth were God, Mrs. God, Adam, and Eve? And Adam and Eve are the fuck ups. That sounds about right. What do you think? What's your heart tell you? You know, I don't know. I'm just, or even if I do know, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So I'm just talking. I can only go by what I feel in my heart, you know? Yeah. One thing I do know, whatever is going on in this world, it's not normal. I really got a kick out of this one woman from New Zealand. One of their world leaders was stepping down, and there was people watching it on TV in a crowd. There must have been about 200 or 300 people in there just cheering and just clapping, and oh, they were just joyful over the fact that this woman was stepping down. It's like, yeah, they all need to step down. That would be a glorious thing to see. All the monsters that are trying to push us into owning no land and not driving cars and whatever. I mean, I wouldn't mind an electric car, but it's like Joe Biden's driving around in his Corvette. Sell it. These people want us to do what they're not willing to do themselves. With the threat of a impure credit score, how could I go from having perfect credit to be put on some kind of credit system that would demean me? You can't go from perfect to demeaned just on their say so. That's narcissistic, isn't it? That's what our governments are. They're gaslighting us. And then they stonewall whenever you try and work something out as a human being. They give you the silent treatment. They just walk off like they didn't hear a thing, you know? That's what our governments are doing. The same narcissistic tactics that are so widespread on this world right now, you know? If you have somebody in your life, even children, that are displaying these type of things, I don't really have any advice aside from the fact that the satanic force is guiding them. There is nothing of God connected with that, you know? Even, you know, normal people, you're not nice one day and then a total bitch the next. You just don't, unless you're not feeling good and you got pushed in a corner or somebody's doing something really totally horrible to you, you're not going to change your personality every other day, you know? And you're not going to wake up in a crabby mood every day, you know? It's just not, it's not in you. And even to seek revenge, that's not in you either. Like people doing a smear campaign on me. What is your mental fucking problem? You know, who, unless you're mentally ill, is going to do that? Move on. But they'll take the time to smear you out of jealousy. Why? Because you wanted something you couldn't get. You wanted a piece of a personality from somebody you don't have. That's why. Yes, you're ugly and your mother dresses you funny too. Was that for anybody in particular? Yeah, it was. And you should tell these people that too. Tell them they're ugly. Fucking ugly. Because you gotta admit, when they snarl at you, that's pretty repulsive, isn't it? You ever seen that? I've been snarly on here, but I really do have to be attacked first. You know, like these middle aged freaks, you know, thinking I'm out here for something other than what I am. Hey, buddy, nobody's touched me for way over a decade, and it's not ever going to happen, and I'm not looking for that. And sorry you thought I was, but that's just how foolish you are. I still only want good friends with God in their heart. That's all I'm looking for. I think I found a few. And they're struggling too because they're being tortured just like I am. Probably everywhere they go. But yeah, tell them they're ugly. They need that. Or just tell them, like as soon as their mask fell off, you saw just how ugly they really were. And if they wanted to go back to being as sweet as they were pretending, you would think they were beautiful again. That works. It may not get you anywhere, but they're going to torture you anyway, so it can't do any harm. Unless you want to keep it around, you know. I say whatever I want to say because I'm not afraid of losing what I never had, you know. So I let it rip, you know. I mean, I'm somewhat careful with his feelings, somewhat, because I can't be like totally downright cruel and think it's okay. I really, that's not in me like that. But some days I wish it was, but it really isn't. I might joke around and say I'm going to do this or do that or whatever, but I can't and I never will. you know, I move on. If I get to the point where I want to cause physical harm on a person, I'm done. That's all she wrote right there. I think you know what I mean with that. Well, once again, I hope you're all having a beautiful night or day wherever you're at. And I'm going to close this out. And sorry I left you in the dark today, y'all. I do have my room is helter skelter again right now because I've got some roofing problems. So, but maybe that'll get squared away. But it leaves my lighting less desirable. So I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do, where I want to put things, set them up, and I've got to go through. I've got to get paperwork done and go through boxes of clothes that if I haven't worn them for a long time, I just have to get rid of them. And that's kind of hard to do because I got a lot of cute things, but I don't wear them. So, but I don't want to let them go either. You know, it's kind of like that narcissist relationship is like my old clothes. You love them and you don't really wear them, but you don't want to get rid of them either. So, you know. See, I would give them to a thrift shop or some kind of something somewhere. My kitty's playing games because she wants attention. But yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen around here. I don't know. A lot of weird things going on right now today. It's really hard to describe, but okay, everybody, thanks again. I love you, and I'll talk to you very soon. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. I love you. Hey, if your heart's like mine, I doubly love you. Talk to you soon.